general warm up, bike, jog, do that thing, get your core temperature up. Moving to specific, moving from very low speed ground-based movements to a little bit faster, a little bit more dynamic, and so on and so forth. Okay, so personally, I will do a full body dynamic warm up, and even if I'm not doing a speed workout or a sprinting workout, I will sometimes incorporate sprints into that workout because it gets a lot of movement, a lot of muscles firing very dynamically, really fast to get me ready to move heavy weights. Right? Cool. Coach, am I missing anything?
I don't think so. Yeah. That's it for warm-up principles, right? It's just, I think it's, like you said, general to specific, and you allow yourself to kind of get some time, but not too much time, where it becomes fatiguing. Where people, whenever they spend 20 minutes on a warm-up, it just gets tiring. Like, it's not what we're going for. Like, get tired during the workout, don't get tired during the warm-up, Right. Yep, that's that.
Cool.
Go on to the next piece?
Yep.
Cool. So let's come on over here. So some of the movements. The first movement in workout 1 is a farmer's carry. So when we're thinking about our farmer's carry, some of the pieces, Moses and I were just talking about this as well, is like your setup will matter a lot. So did you ever have to carry anything down and back? So you said you did like the swings and like throwing it forward, some pulls and stuff. Do you ever have to carry anything out to the side like this? Not this one, but it can potentially come up?
Yeah, it has been done.
Okay, cool. So I think this is definitely an important movement that is just like, it's just fundamental, right? Like it's so basic, but it's in a lot of things. Is also very hard on our grip, and then especially when we're under load, goodness gracious, do I see people's backs round forward like this, and then they get super tired, and their low backs are messed up, and then they try to start shooting, and they're like, oh my gosh, like my back, you know what I mean? It starts to break down because we're not doing these things properly. So when we're thinking about our farmer's carry, let's start off on the 20-pound dumbbells. We obviously can just grip in the middle, in the center, like this, but I think a big piece that I enjoy instructing people to do is either put the pinky to the back or put the, let's say the pointer finger to the front, because this allows us even more control, and it's less like this, more like this. This thing is wobbling all over the place. So I like to either scoot the hand forward or scoot the hand back. And that goes for a dumbbell, that goes litter, that goes for a kettlebell, that goes for all these different types of implements.
So at the tactical games, they have
the farmer's carry handles?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So the strongman farmer's carry handles.
A little bit back from center?
So on farmer's carry handles, it'll be a little bit different because the load is so much wider. It's almost like you're carrying a barbell. So right. I would go dead center on those. Okay. Because I can control the smaller like width of the object on like a kettlebell or dumbbell, I'd want to go either forward, middle, or back. But it's some way that allows us to carry it better. A lot of times whenever I see people run with kettlebells, they'll be like flopping around like this. But whenever I have them choke up on the horns like this, it doesn't feel that much different. It's not harder, and it doesn't feel lopsided. Whenever I have the load spread out, like on a barbell or one of those farmer's carry handles, then it'll get all lopsided and crazy, and then my wrist does a lot of bad
plates
stuff.
Into the ground.
For sure. Yep. And then it's almost like, you guys ever seen a hex bar? Like the deadlift hex bars, right? Yeah. Whenever someone grips forward or back on those, it'll like, tilt forward, tilt back. I'm like, that's not good. The same thing would happen with like a farmer's carry handle. You know what I mean? But that won't happen on dumbbell kettlebell. So for dumbbell kettlebell, the other piece is a lot of times people will just kind of just like stay loose in the upper body and like allow those shoulders to roll forward, especially when it starts to get to like a heavy, the heavy 50s, the heavy 70s. Sometimes they do upwards of 100-pound farmer's carry holds. And like that gets pretty daggone heavy, right? So whenever we're doing this, we really want to try to focus on the chest up tall, and then we can lean the torso forward to kind of get some momentum, or just some forward lean to kind of help us with the progression. However, what we don't want is to go like this and then be leaned forward and trying to carry like this. Not ideal, right? Because then we're going to get super, super tired of the upper back, and then our shoulders are going to hurt, and then we try to get into our good pistol position. It's not going to go well, right? So the last piece here is where your pistol is set up also matters a lot, right? If this is in the way, well, you're going to have to go like this, and that is quite fatiguing to the shoulder. So for you, you might need to maybe have one a little bit back, right? Better than forward, because now the thigh is getting hit, right? So if you do notice that it's a little bit uncomfortable, maybe just go behind if possible, or even consider switching the setup by like an inch or two, something like that. Okay. So then for the farmer's carry, I'll have you guys want to come on over here. One of you guys grab the 20s, one of you guys grab the 30s. Yeah, grab the 50s. I'm kidding, 35s. And then turn on over here. And then let's do a farmer's carry down and back with a relatively slow walk, and just see how those feel, right? And then what I want you to do is shift the hands all the way forward, so pointed fingers touch the forward part of the dumbbell. We'll walk to this 12-yard line and stop. Turn. Let's go pinkies to the back part of the dumbbell, and then let's start walking. Do you feel the difference there?
Yeah.
Right? You kind of feel also it helps with changing the muscular stimulus.
Yeah.
So I'm not overly fatiguing one part of my wrist and forearm, right? Good, we'll stop at the box and turn. And now hold it in the center, and let's try to go a little bit faster here. Now it's not super heavy. You feel less control. Yeah, right? So now let's turn to 12, whichever you want. Forward or back. And then let's go that same speed all the way back. Do you feel that control? Because it has this contact area with the rest of your hand, that meaty portion, you need to sit down on the ground, that meaty portion of the hand, that meaty portion of the back of the pinky has that contact area with the forward or back part of that dumbbell,
Now,
right?
Would you suggest if you were doing reps back and forth like that to keep changing, alternating it?
That's what I was going to get to. Yep. And that's what's nice about changing that muscular stimulus as well, is a lot of times we can also kind of shift from this pointer finger forward to pinky back, right? And then it kind of fatigues the different part of that forearm. Right. And then by alternating back and forth, it allows us to hopefully stay a little bit fresher, right? Yep. So that's a big piece there. Then on the kettlebells, you feel you can kind of control the bell of that ball, like the ball, it's called the ball of the bell.
Yeah, so
as I'm going back and forth, yeah.
So I think this
Yep.
seems a little easier
Yeah.
than
the pinkies?
middle.
Because those just swing
and
around.
then forward, like it
Yep.
seems like it just seems like this is a little bit better for me.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so a lot of times on the kettlebells, you also see, because you're changing the position of, like this load is obviously different because we have load forward and back of the hand, right? For this one, we have load underneath the hand, which is the reason why this gets even more crazy with this flopping out and back, right? This will just kind of wobble back and forth. This one's gonna wobble side to side a lot more because it has this ball rotating underneath the hand, right? So that's a huge one. Is I very much don't recommend grabbing straight in the center of a kettlebell if you ever do like the heavy kettlebell carries as well.
Okay.
Yep. And then a lot of those same principles apply whenever we're thinking about the chest up piece. And then whenever we're thinking about not letting that back round as we start to get a little bit fatigued. So go ahead and pick your dumbbells back up. And then I just want you to like kind of shift those shoulders forward and put the bells in front of you like this. That is where you've probably felt it yourself if you've ever done this before in training. This is where a lot of people start to end up. So let's go shoulders back, chest up tall, and then hands back a little bit, and then no contact with the thighs or the rear. And then let's go out and back one more time. And then just try to focus on keeping that chest up tall the whole time. He technically has the heaviest bells.
Yeah, so I get more points.
Yeah. Good, and then you can set them down.
You are cheating over 20s.
We'll make it harder, I promise, if we want. Okay, so any questions on farmer's carry? Those are for farmer's carry implements. The same body position awareness matters when we're thinking about sandbag carry for the implements, okay? So come on over here. 40 to 60.
On top, that's
Get you the 40 this time. You get the 60. You can grab that green one. You grab this 50. And then go over to the same spot. Yep. Go to the same spot you were at before. And then go ahead and drop that sandbag right in front of the bells. Yep. Okay, so then when we're thinking about our sandbag carry, like kind of the similar principles apply, but it'll also change based on the sandbag position. So a lot of times you'll do a bear hug sandbag carry, which is, I believe, is our route 3, is that bear hug, or on the shoulder. So whenever we're getting it up to our hips and then up to the bear hug and then up to the shoulder, we're gonna go over each one of those components first. So we're thinking about sandbag with handles first, okay? The big piece is I always wanna load up almost like I'm about to do a deadlift. So go ahead and hinge at the hips like this. Your feet should be about hip width apart, and we're gonna bend our hips and we bring that sandbag as close to our legs as possible. So bring that sandbag in close to our legs, and then you see how he has a smaller sandbag? We'll get there in a second, but he has that directly in between his feet because he can, and that's better, okay? So then deadlift it up to your thighs, and then re-squat down, rest it on your thighs. And then re-grip, so not for you, but you can re-grip underneath the ball, yep. And then you can grab the horizontal handles like he has right here, that's perfect. And then you can, so grab the horizontal handles in front. Yep. And then flip it up to your shoulders like this. Perfect, good. So then whenever these handle sandbags, that's what that sandbag clean looks like with a handled sandbag, okay? And then you guys could just go like this, bend the knees one more time, and then press overhead. And then that's what the sandbag clean and press would look like. So come on back down, and then back to the thighs. and then back down to the ground. We keep that sandbag as close to the body as possible through the whole movement. Make sense? Okay, so for this next one, we're gonna go back up to this shoulder position here, and I want you to go chest up tall, and we'll just walk 10 meters out and back, okay? So let's deadlift it up to the thighs, bend, clean, and then let's walk 10 meters out and back.
Try to get that sandbag across
Chest
the
up
front
tall.
of your clavicles as much as possible, rather than trying
Push
to
those
hold it in
elbows
your
up a little
arms.
higher as well. You can stay, hold on those handles or there. Yep. And then turn. Fine. Yep.
Yeah, think of it like a front squat position.
Correct. Perfect. Good, and then go ahead and dump. Yep. Make sense? Okay, so I'll have, Dave, if you don't mind grabbing, keeping that 50 there, and then I'll just have you come on over on the 50, and then we'll take I'll just have you come stand over here, please. You're gonna come on the 50. Dave, you're gonna come over here. You're gonna take turns on the 50. Okay. So you guys are gonna see what this feels like. Okay. Not allowed to use the handle. Okay. Okay, not allowed to use the handle. So go ahead and split the sandbag in between your feet. Grab the hands underneath the sandbag. You can shift the weight back and forth a little bit if you'd like to, and then deadlift it up to the thighs, and then clean it up to the bear hug, and then you're holding it there, okay? So that's what a bear hug position carry would look like, and then just dump it all the way down to the ground. Good, and then now for the sandbag clean up to the shoulder, the big piece is, again, like he said, almost like that front squat position, you're trying to really elevate that elbow up tall. So let's go on to your right shoulder. So you're gonna clean it the same way up to the thighs, and then from here, good, from the thighs, and then from here, you're gonna put it on the right shoulder. Perfect, and then from there, he can start. Does that make sense? Yep. The big piece is almost like you're treating it like two separate movements, because it'll matter a ton more when we're on that 150, okay? So dump it from there. Let me show you what the 150 would look like. Is we really want to be deliberate with it, right? We're stepping up, we're gonna kind of shift the weight back and forth, get up to the thighs, get it on the shoulder. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the big piece is people, a lot of times they'll be like this, the sandbag will be out here, and they're like, oh my fucking Lord. And then they try to just wheel it up, and they're not actually doing anything.
And that sand is unforgiving.
We want to use, yeah, that sand is very mean. We really want to use the power from our hips and the repositioning of the legs and hips and the hand in that thigh position, okay? So get to this thigh position here, we re-grip, and then we use those hips. We really explode at the hips to get it up onto the shoulder. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's use the 50. Let's do 3 sandbag cleans to the shoulder. Go for it. Yep. Good, come up to the thighs.
Yeah, so
come up to the thighs. Yep. And then bend the knees a little bit in. Okay. Kind of like supporting the sandbag on the thigh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Then you'll reposition, then use those hips to get up. Make sense?
Yep.
It's not heavy enough for you. Come on over.
You can use the Honda. So
face, actually come horizontal, face this way.
Yep.
Bring your feet forward a little bit more. Good. Rotate that sand back and forth. Yep. Deadlift it up to the thighs. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is more likely. Good, come up to the thighs. Re-bend. Now you're gripping hard. And you're gonna push up, hips. Good. Good. You feel that sand still kind of a little bit forward.
Yep.
I want you to explode at the hips a little bit more and try to get that sand higher. And then you can squat underneath to catch it and then stand up. Okay. So dump it. We'll try one more. Good. Move those hands underneath. Come up to the thigh. Squat again. And then hips. Powerful. Good. Much better. You came even a little bit too much behind, but that's a better way to fail. So go ahead and dump. That's a better, like, you're being more deliberate with the explosiveness of the hips. That's good. So go again. And let's go to the left shoulder.
Okay.
Good. Yeah.
There you go.
Good. Make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So it gets kind of tough a little bit, right?
This is where practicing with your kit is very, very important.
For sure.
Notice how we don't have anything on the very front of our plate carriers. If we had mag pouches and radios and all those things, it's going to catch, it's going to get super difficult, right? So the more that you can run slick here, the better off you're going to be, because the closer that weight is going to be to you.
Yep.
Okay. What you run for the tactical games or events like this is not what you'd run in a real life scenario, obviously. Yeah. But for this, practicing with your kit is super important.
For sure.
I mean, if you're law enforcement or military, try again.
Then it's going to be different.
For
absolutely.
Sure. Yep.
It just depends on your purpose, I think.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would for BRC, I'd be practicing all the time with full kit, right?
Yeah, because that's what you're competing in.
Yeah. Why do it, right?
Yep.
Good, come on over to the 100. It's a big piece, straddle those feet halfway on the sandbag. Good, and then get those hands underneath, waddle back and forth, head up to the thighs. Good. So go ahead and dump all the way down, just drop it. Bring your feet a little bit closer in, and then whenever you bring it up to the thighs, I want you to try to take one small step inward with the left foot.
Okay.
Make sense? So deadlift it up, come to the thighs, step in slightly, and then rest it on the thigh. Very good. Yep. So then from here, you have that good underneath grip already. So I want you to explode at the hips and bring it up to the right shoulder. Very good. Yep. Go ahead and dump all the way from there. What I want you to focus on here is you did what's called like a muscle clean, where you just exploded at the hips and then you just didn't move your legs again. I want you to try to focus on moving those legs again and catching it. So let me go real quick.
Okay. Yeah.
So I move the sand back and forth, come up to the thighs, and then here. You see how I caught it here in this position, as opposed to here? This is an extra 2-3 inches, and let me tell you, 2-3 inches would make a big difference.
Distributing the weight down, right, when it drops on you? Is that kind of like what's going on?
Pretty much. Yep.
You're like springing down with it?
Correct. Yep. Then you're absorbing the load as well.
Right.
Yep. Go for it. That's a good starting position. Good. Come up. Good. Okay. Yep. Go ahead, dump. Two big things. It's almost like you're trying to pull slack out of the bar from the floor, because I know you're a deadlifter. So you're already trying to pull slack out of the bar, and that's why that sandbag's already coming off the ground. Rather, go ahead and back up a little bit. I'd rather you be loose and get your hands underneath, and then I deadlift. But I don't have any arm bend like this before I get into this deadlift position, before I start to clean. So my hands are just getting into a good position, so I have a little bit of surface area contact with the palm on the bottom of the sandbag. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we shift back and forth, and then there. Make sense?
Yeah.
Go for it.
When you bring it up to your thighs, you're actually kind of almost barreling.
Scooping
If
it.
you can, certainly. Yep.
Yep.
Because then again, you have better control here, and I can keep it close to the body.
Gotcha. Okay.
Good. Very good. Good. How'd that feel?
A lot
That was your best one yet.
better.
Yeah. Go ahead, dump.